Yes, we did it, y'all. We made it to my favorite time of the year in the RV world, not just for myself personally, but for you guys as well, because 2026 models are out now. They are hitting dealership lots just like this 2026 Flagstaff Classic that we're about to take a look at. And I'm gonna tell you why this is not only exciting for me, obviously, I think that's kind of obvious, but for you guys especially. Come on. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Myles with Firmly Unbound, and we are here at Blue Compass RV in Dallas, Texas, taking a look at this 2026 Forest River Flagstaff Classic 361 RLS. You'll be able to see the floor plan layout and the specs on the screen. It's right at 36 feet 10 inches and about 10,700 pounds unloaded on this fifth wheel RV. And there's a lot to talk about on this, but before we get to that, there's a couple things I want to talk about to you guys really fast. First of all, I'm back in Dallas, Texas. If you haven't been keeping up with things, I've been traveling all over the entire country for you guys, filming RVs all over the place, and I also doubled that as my honeymoon with my wife, who is now pregnant. So she is about 9-10 weeks pregnant right now. We are super excited. I mean, just over the moon ecstatic about everything that is coming in our lives. If you want to see more about what's going on there, we documented all of our travels, our pregnancy, news being discovered, all of these different things are on our Firmly Unbound YouTube channel. That is linked down below in the comments. And then before we get into the details here on this RV, I do want to talk about if you're looking at upgrading your personal RV that you have right now, or if you're just looking at getting a new RV, there's something that is a really important upgrade that a lot of people often consider or commit to, and that is upgrading the mattress in their RV. So let me show you how you can do that real quick. One of the first things that I am upgrading in my RV, and most other people upgrade in their RV, is the mattress, because most mattresses that come in RVs are just absolutely pitiful. As you can see here in my Alliance Delta that I have, this is what the mattress material is underneath here. I mean, that is hardly a mattress at all. I don't even know what this material is, but we're gonna get rid of this thing. And I'm going to swap this out with a mattress from RVmattress.com. They come rolled up in a box like this, so very easy to install in your RV, even if you are at a campground. And then they have RV-sized mattresses for any kind of mattress you may find in your RV, even bunk beds. That's another thing that makes them so great. They come with a 120-night sleep trial, so if you don't like what you got, you can return it. They have a limited lifetime warranty as well. They also have various different mattress types that you can choose from. So I actually went with the Dream Foam Essential mattress because that had the widest range of like thickness options and different comfort options out of all of their lineup. And I actually wanted something that was a little bit more lightweight and thinner in profile, that was a little bit firm, which the Dream Foam Essential was like the perfect choice for me there. But I did also get an Aurora Luxe mattress for my parents a while back for their fifth wheel RV, which is a much thicker, more plush mattress that does have different firmness options as well. So lots of different options out there. Now you can use the discount code MYLES here to get 30% off of your order. This is something I recommend for almost everybody, because nearly every RV out there just does not have a good mattress when you get into it on night one. And this is something that most people find wanting to upgrade pretty dang quick. So check that out. Again, you can use the discount code MYLES for 30% off of RVmattress.com by Brooklyn Bedding. Appreciate you guys watching that, and thank you to RVmattress.com for sponsoring this video. Now, let me get into why this is my favorite time of the year. The reason why it's my favorite time of the year for myself personally is pretty obvious. I get to look at brand new RVs pretty much every day for the next like 2-3 months. So that's really exciting for me, and I'm sure it's exciting for you guys as well. Now, the reason why it's my favorite time of year for you as a consumer is because this is the time of year where you have the most options possible for you. And this time of year really extends from like this time period of July that we're in right now, all the way through maybe like December, January, where you're going to have a selection of 2026 brand new RVs to select from, and sometimes that might be the route you want to go. I know for me personally, when I bought my Alliance Delta travel trailer, one thing that helped me feel confident to pull the trigger on that model was the fact that I knew it was only a month old. It had only been sitting on an RV dealership's lot for less than 30 days. I'm going to show you how you can figure out that information, but right now it's pretty self-explanatory. If you're purchasing a 2026 model RV, it could have only been sitting here for a maximum amount of time of maybe like not even 2 months, maybe like 6 weeks up to this point at best. So if you want that peace of mind that you're buying an RV that hasn't been sitting on a lot for a long time, you get the option to be able to do that and do that relatively easily without having to do much digging to figure that out. Two is you're going to have a wide range of 2025 model RVs that dealerships are wanting to get rid of. Blue Compass has over 100 different stores in 33 different states, so there is a link down below in the comments and description where you can find your next RV with Blue Compass anywhere across the country, wherever you may be located at. And they want to get rid of their 2025 models. They don't want them on the lot. They want to make room for these 2026 models that they want to order, but in order for them to do that, they have to sell the 2025s. So you as a consumer kind of get the best of both worlds, where if you want a really good deal, this is the best time of year to find that on a 2025 model that's still available. Or if you want the new shiny thing, or if you're like me and you just want the peace of mind that you're buying an RV that hasn't been sitting on a lot for an extended period of time, it's very easy to do that buying a new 2026 model. So that is the reason why I love this time of year. I think it's really fun and exciting. Now let's get into this Flagstaff Classic here. This is going to be Flagstaff's biggest, most high-end fifth wheel RV, which is interesting because it's not actually a true full profile fifth wheel RV. So we're gonna get inside here in just like under 2 minutes, but let me go through a couple things real fast. You can see this Paradigm. This is a true full profile fifth wheel RV. It has the drop frame down underneath here, which is going to give you really large storage areas here underneath. This is flat along the bottom, so it does not have that drop frame, but it does have the full profile front cap here, which gives you the washer dryer capabilities up front. Now the biggest advantage to this is going to come in that like $70,000 price range. All I have right now is the MSRP, which is 87, but it's probably gonna sell somewhere in the $70,000 range, whereas a Paradigm, I believe these are in at least like the $90,000 to $100,000 range, if not over $100,000 for a lot of comparable models. So love that about it. And then there's a lot of great quality aspects we're gonna go through on this Flagstaff. It's one of my favorite lines ever. If you've been on this channel for a while, you know that I'm a big fan of Flagstaff, and that is not because I get paid by any of these manufacturers. It is because I truly just have done the research to understand what makes all these RVs different, and this Flagstaff truly is something that is just different than a lot of other things out there in this price range. One thing right away is you have aluminum framing up through the roof, whereas a lot of other brands will use wood. So you have aluminum framing even up into the roof structure. Same thing with the structures underneath the bed, underneath the dining table. They're all aluminum. They're not wood like you find in so many other brands. Even brands that are a lot higher end are more expensive than what this Flagstaff is. Now as we walk inside here, very curious your thoughts on the color scheme, because they did change the colors for 2026. Went to a little bit darker colors on these woods here, so not so light. Definitely has a bit more character. Just noticed that I didn't turn this light on. They have some of these push button lights there, but it's kind of like a sensor button on those instead of a traditional button. So you can see right there. So turn that on. You have a ceiling fan in this fifth wheel RV as well, 2 air conditioners, and then solid surface countertops in here, solid wood cabinet doors and drawers. You have a nice looking island with outlets on both sides. No carpet anywhere in this fifth wheel RV that I have seen. And then it's a pretty traditional floor plan layout here with this model, but keep in mind they will make a bunch of other floor plans as well if you just like what you're seeing here, but this might not be the floor plan for you. As we go through this, going down the slide out, you have blackout curtains on your windows, and they are all wood framed windows, so they don't have those bulky balances. Looks pretty nice. You have Velcro here to hold this in place. Wow, that was actually a really strong bond there on that. Sometimes I don't like Velcro, but what they did there, it's decent, it's not bad. Underneath here, you're going to have this, oh gosh, what is this held in by? Okay, there is a metal latch right there to hold that in place. So that's nice. So it's not just gonna be free sliding around. You have a metal latch here to hold this seating area here with storage down underneath it, but you can also use this as an ottoman in the living room area if you want to do that. You have your table here. It is a legless table, so no legs to hit your feet on getting in and out of there, and it is just screwed into the sidewall. So if you ever wanted to remove that, pretty easy to do. I do in fact see a lot of people opt to do something like that. Extendable leaf here, and then you have this additional storage space right there as well. Then drop that leaf back down underneath there. You have really nice looking recliner seats here. They look like they're powered as well. And as we sit down in these, a little bit more on the firm side, which I definitely appreciate. I don't really like when the recliners are super squishy. So these have more of a firm feel to them. Power recliners. And as you can see here, as I turn the camera around, they do lay down flat pretty much. So you definitely can take a good nap on here, but my feet, just like any RV furniture, pretty much my feet hang pretty substantially off the edge of those recliners. They have this Millersburg collection furniture here. So this sofa looks really nice. It's kind of an extended length on here, so they really minimize the storage on both sides to make the sofa a bit longer. And this is a fabric on here. So it is a gray fabric there. I really like the fabric because it doesn't have the heat and temperature changes that you get with like a fake leather style material there. You also don't stick to it when you've been sitting on it for a long time like you do with these materials here. So I really like that in the sofa, and then this will pull out and make into basically like a king size bed, because this is very wide here. It's probably about 5'9" in width, I would say. So it's pretty substantial on the length, maybe 5'8". Really big windows here. This is bigger than you'll see in a lot of other fifth wheel RVs, window along the back. And then if you're wanting to full time in an RV like this, because I do think this does have a lot of stuff that you would look for in a full time fifth wheel RV. You have all this additional storage here, solid wood cabinet doors, and I did notice they have these new handles on here that feel very nice to the touch. Just a nice, soft, easy to grab feeling there. You have a vent up here in the ceiling, again, your ceiling fan, and then you can see your lighting up in the little fixture there over the island. Got your electric fireplace, so this will be an electric heat source for you in this area. The sofa, now that I sit down on this, is actually very comfortable as well. Sometimes these fifth wheel sofas, or just RV sofas in general, can be like the much less preferred seating position, but this actually is not too bad. I think the cloth does help with that because I just kind of have a preference for that, but that's just my own personal opinion on that. And then we have no heat vents in the floor, so you can see heat is being run underneath the island. They opted not to put the TV in any sort of like confined space here, so that does really open up this countertop area. Solid surface countertops, that looks like that's a 50-inch screen TV. Got your storage space up above here, soft close on those, and then open these up. Magnet latches to hold these closed, not soft close on the cabinet doors. Have a residential size microwave, a 3-burner gas stove here that has more of that industrial look, and then a pretty good size oven with some additional storage space down underneath there. So going with the slightly smaller oven to give you that extra storage space. Some shelved storage underneath here. Pop-up outlet towers on both sides of the stove. So you have outlets and USB ports there, USB Type-C as well, and it is also a wireless charging pad on that. Same thing over here. 3 drawers on this side of the stove. They're using a standard plywood drawer construction with staples to hold those in place. Are these soft close? Those are soft close, nice. And then you have the bigger drawer down here. Turning back around this way, spot for your trash can underneath there. You also have an additional little storage space here. And you have a cutting board right there that does come out and you can use freely in the camper, or you can use it there as it's positioned. So all pretty nice stuff that comes in this little compartment here. Little snap-in close function there on those hinges. And then utensil divider. And then standard drawers all through here. So just kind of showing you what all the storage will look like in this fifth wheel. You have your sink covers here. It's 2 individual sink covers. You can see one on top of the other. Pretty standard looking sink, but it does have the detachable faucet. You have your stainless steel sink there, and got your storage here underneath the sink. No washer dryer connections in this area down here because the water lines would be in the way of that. Then we have our pantry. You have an outlet here inside the pantry, adjustable shelving as well, and then lights that automatically turn on when you open that door. Kind of a French door style refrigerator here. Does have an ice maker as well, and there is a door on the outside of this refrigerator and freezer that is going to allow you to get to the functions on this refrigerator from outside. I have the door open so you can kind of see the light shining through. That'll allow you to get to the back of the refrigerator easy and get to the ice maker valve back there, since it does have this ice maker under here. And then that is pretty much everything in this area. Last couple little details. It does have a nice big speaker here in the ceiling. I don't see a brand on that though. And then you have your Coleman Mach air conditioner here that is ducted down both sides of the camper in this space. Doing a good job. It's like, gosh, it's so humid here in Dallas. It was so nice being in like San Diego and even Arizona and Utah, where I got out of the humidity for a while. Now getting back out here, I'm like, stepping outside for less than 5 minutes and already dripping sweat. But I can say, stepping inside of this fifth wheel RV that has had that single AC on for less than 20 minutes, it has stopped the sweating since I've got in here. So doing a good job on cooling this thing down, even though it is hot and humid out here. That's all your storage space in this area. You have your little coffee bar area, and then we have touchscreen control panel for this fifth wheel RV. You have 12-volt heat pads on the water tanks there, and then you're going to have on this side your thermostat controls for your air conditioners. Have your grab handle going up the stairs, and as we go into the bathroom, it's a very traditional looking bathroom. Nothing crazy about this, although it does have a molded fiberglass one-piece shower that is very tall. So that's the first thing I want to point out. I'm standing at about 6'2" with my shoes on, and you can see here, even to the ceiling, it's probably about 6'3" at least, maybe almost 6'4". So you could easily be about 6'6", 6'7" and fit in the skylight. Plus, this here is an adjustable height shower head. So if I get this in the right configuration and get this up as high as it can go, I actually can fully stand underneath this shower head without having to duck. That is pretty rare. I mean, that is not common at all to find. Here we have Liquefied. This is a black tank treatment you can find for your RV on Amazon, as well as Blue Compass RV store shelves across the country. They now have these in their parts departments as well. They have it in the pod formula, liquid formula, and in the powder formula to keep your black tank draining out properly and smelling fresh. So go get that for your RV. Got your medicine cabinet here. Nice little accent on the wall back here behind the medicine cabinet, so it gives it kind of a nice look there, as you can see. Storage space down underneath here. The only thing Flagstaff doesn't do that I wish they did is they don't have individual shutoff valves on the water lines. So that's just gonna mean that if you do experience a water leak, which mind you, I've been full timing in my camper for the past like 2 months, I didn't have any water lines leak. So that's not something that I experienced, although my camper does have the shutoff valves for the water lines. I never had to use them. So hopefully that's not something you would have to experience either. But if you did experience a water leak in a camper like this, you would just have to shut off the water to the entire camper. Now, when I sat on the toilet, I was thinking like, dang, this is kind of a tight space here. Then I realized when you're using the toilet, you're going to close the door here. So it is a pocket door, and that frees up literally about 2 inches, maybe almost 3 inches of space there, which makes a substantial difference. So you gotta be careful not to come into an RV like this and think, oh my gosh, there's no room next to the toilet. That's not gonna work for me. Because when you actually use it in application and you close the door like you normally would, there is actually enough shoulder space here. But even my first thought was like, oh gosh, there's not much room here to move around. But once I closed that door, it's not really the case. Latch here to keep that door shut, or open, I guess, when you're going down the road. And this is a porcelain foot flush toilet there with a plastic seat. Is that plastic? Yeah, plastic seat on that porcelain foot flush toilet. Little towel hanger area right here. And then you got your storage space back through this area. Some really deep and kind of narrow storage there. Also like the drain in the shower, plus you get the seat in the shower as well. So all things that I would really appreciate. I know Megan would really appreciate that seat quite a bit as well. And you have the bigger vent fan in here. There's some $100,000 plus fifth wheel RVs that do not have that bigger vent fan in the bathroom. Going back into this area in the bedroom, or I guess up front into this area, you have a king size bed here. We talked about RVmattress.com. This camper does actually have a somewhat decent mattress. This is not bad. So you may find yourself in this camper not having to upgrade it, but if you're wanting to upgrade your mattress, there is a link down below in the comments and description. Yeah, that's not bad. But there's a link to RVmattress.com where you can get 30% off your mattress there. So that is something that I recommend to literally anybody buying an RV, just so you deserve a good night's sleep on the road too. And a mattress really does make all the difference. Have your storage space up here, nice little cubby areas, and then some cabinet storage. Individual reading lights, just has the one light option on that, and it does have a USB port on that light. You also have your little bedside table with outlets and USB ports plus a USB Type-C. Pull down blackout shades on the windows here in the bedroom. I wish they would keep the same wood framing around these windows. I think it's just, these ones it seems like they could. This one here maybe just underneath because of the position of this they couldn't. But in the bedroom they do start to go to some different materials here, so they don't have the wood framing around the windows here, and they do not have a solid surface countertop here. This is going to be a wrapped countertop material. Probably not that big of a deal though, because it's going to have the least potential for any like moisture exposure. Got your 4 drawers here, all the same size, then 2 larger drawers on the bottom. And then as we step back this way, ceiling height in here is great. I'll show you that in just a second. Got your washer dryer connections here in this closet with adjustable or removable shelving. And then you do also have a clothing line up here that you can hang clothes on. And then I really like their closet layout. So when we come back over here, you can easily sit on the bed, have plenty of room here to kind of get ready and get into this closet. You have a light strip up in this closet as well. Plenty of space to hang your clothes. You have all this shelving built in here. It is connected into that closet space there, or where the washer and dryer will be. And then you also have 2 drawers down underneath here, one here and then one behind these doors. Now the only thing this doesn't have, it's kind of close, you can see here, like this kind of acts as a mirror, but not really. Megan always talks about how she can't stand how our camper doesn't have a full body mirror. And that has made me realize that a lot of campers don't have full body mirrors. So this would be another one to join that group. Outlets here, USB ports, type A and type C. And then you have a TV installed in the bedroom. A little bit of a barreled ceiling here, so that does add another element of ceiling height there. It's very slight, but it is noticeable. And then me standing here, even at the shortest part in this bedroom, it's probably about 6'4". And then at the tallest part of the bedroom, because there is a slight slant down, this is probably about 6'6" or so. And then as I walk through the door, that's the shortest of all the spots. This is right at about 6 foot, maybe 6'1". So I would have to duck underneath that door coming in and out of there. So things just to keep in mind. Last thing in the bedroom, you have some hooks right here, nice accent wall in general, and still no heat vents in the floors. They're running heat there through the wall. And then that is everything on the inside. Another construction detail is they use 5/8 inch thick tongue and groove plywood flooring. You also have the privacy shade on the window here, so you don't have to install that secondhand. Interesting, this is like a really nice, almost like carpet feeling style, I don't know, little foam pad on the entry door there. Just kind of stands out. But that's pretty much everything on the inside. So very curious your thoughts. But as we step outside, let me show you a lot of things that kind of make this it's hard to think of like the right word to describe it, because the inside can be like, it's not popping or anything like that, but there's so many construction aspects built into this model that you just don't typically find at this price point. One of the first things being you have a strut assisted step here. So it stays up, will go down without any like force required there. So that is really nice, especially if you're worried about that weight falling on you or just it slipping out of your hand or anything like that. You never have to worry about it with the strut assisted step. Close this door here. You have the safety rail, so this extends down to the floor level, so you don't have to step up onto the steps to get to grab that. You have anti-lock braking here on this fifth wheel RV, and then it has this new slipper axle. So this basically is allowing these springs here to slip a little bit without causing any like friction. I had to do a little research on these to kind of understand what this is, but it allows those because I don't know if it's still like a leaf spring style suspension, but it's like a more modern advanced version of a leaf spring style suspension where it allows those to slip so they don't cause friction. That's the best thing I've been able to get to understand kind of the engineering behind that. But basically it's just a more advanced suspension system on that. And then you have the Goodyear Endurance tires here as well. Red brake drums there is how you can tell it has the ABS system on it, so anti-lock braking. Has a 12-gallon gas and electric water heater, so you get both the gas and electric heating elements on that water heater. Turn those both on at the same time and you get a really, really fast recovery rate on that water heater. Has a much thicker baggage door than you'll typically find on fifth wheel RVs in this size and price range. So better insulation through here and just more weight and just rigidness to that door. Also has the slam latch door, so you don't have any clips that you have to deal with, and you have magnets here to hold that in place. Storage space underneath here is really good. Definitely plenty of room to work with. You have all your aluminum framing here throughout this fifth wheel RV, and then you have your outlets there. And it does have welds on both sides of the aluminum frame connections also. So keep going along this way. 2 30-pound propane bottles. You have the Kurt Rotaflex pin box up front here, so a bushing here to absorb shock as you brake and accelerate and go over bumps. Great looking front cap with the LED light strip under here and then 2 down the sides. Definitely has this classic look though. There's no denying that, as it's in the name. Storage space down underneath here, same thing. Even this door has the slam latch latches instead of like the little metal clips that you have to deal with that can get quite annoying. Plug here for more solar, your docking light switch right there. Has a 4-point auto leveling, electric auto leveling system. This slide mechanism, you don't see any of the mechanics of it. They are all underneath the bed. So it's a little bit different slide mechanism with that, those slide mechanisms sit under the bed from what I understand. And then right here, you have a friction hinge on this door so it doesn't just fly around wherever. You have your auto leveling there, and then you have all your water connections here with the Nautilus water management system. You have your water filter here, and then when you drop this down, same thing, thick baggage door here. All of them have the slam latches on them. You have your gray and black tank dump valves here, including the one for the washer dryer, and this is a pretty substantial thing to talk about. You might have seen I made a TikTok video about this recently. Now this right here is exposed. This looks like it might be going to probably the bathroom. So this valve right here is exposed and out in the open, right? These valves right here are actually up underneath in the underbelly. So with these valves here, those valves are protected from freezing. That means if you have these valves closed here, no water is running out into this exposed area that can freeze if you're camping in below freezing temperatures, and that will keep those areas where the valve is at from freezing, allowing you to be continually be able to drain your water even in freezing conditions. However, this one valve right here is exposed and out in the open. So this is where a bunch of Four Seasons RVs will be considered Four Seasons, but they will have exposed valves out here, which means if you have water that's running into these tanks and it's getting down to this valve here, which it will naturally because there's no way to stop that from happening, this all can freeze up right here, which means when you go to open your tank to drain it out, nothing will come out because it'll all be ice. So that's something where you do have these differences with different RVs, where they might all be considered Four Seasons, but there's different degrees to what that Four Seasons can potentially mean. So that's just something to be aware of. Interesting that these ones are good and then this one is out and exposed. You also see the expandable spray foam sprayed in all these areas where you could have critters get up into the underbelly. There's also lights underneath here, so you have your spot to store your sewer hose. And then you have a through frame rack and pinion style slide on this bigger slide. Here's the access to your ice maker valve, as you can see right there. And then you have some more storage here. And then the last thing I'm gonna leave you with, after talking about you can tow up to 3,000 pounds on this RV, frameless windows, ladder to get up onto the roof, we're gonna go up here. And this is where I get most excited about buying a brand new fifth wheel RV, or any RV in general. Look at how nice this roof looks. This RV clearly has not been here long at all. This roof is nearly spotless. It looks fantastic. The seals all look really, really good. Mind you, even if I was buying this fifth wheel RV, I would get up here and inspect myself every seal on this thing to make sure that whoever did the seal work on this did a good job and there's no holes or cracks or anything like that, or any areas that just might not have got filled in. That's something that any responsible RV owner should do. But if you compare this to an RV that's been on a lot for 6 months, 8 months, 12 months, 14 months, 18 months, however long it may be, this is a very substantial difference. And this is something that, this alone makes me want to buy something that is fresh and brand new, because I know it hasn't been sitting out here in the sun for however long the time may have been. So that's something to consider there. 200 watts of solar up on the roof, and it does have a 360-degree omnidirectional antenna. Now as we hop down, let me show you before we leave, last thing on how you can know when your RV was built. It's actually pretty simple. It is right here. These stickers are almost always on the side of fifth wheel RVs and on the sides of travel trailers. Sometimes they'll put them on the frame on a travel trailer. We have the date that it was manufactured right here. So 6/23/2025. It is July 9th as of me filming this, so this has been here for less than a full month. And that is something where if I was fifth wheel shopping right now, I would take preference to this unit just off that alone versus looking at something else that might have been here for a longer duration of time. That's just my preference though. Sometimes people want to save money and get a better deal on something that's a bit older. Just know that it's been sitting out here for a while, so you just want to go through and check things, get your RV inspected by somebody. That's never a bad thing to do. But that's pretty much it. So that's all I got for y'all. Appreciate you watching. And if you want to see all of the adventures I went on this summer, it was quite some fun. I mean, I did a lot of things. I took some steps towards the #1 thing on my bucket list of swimming with great white sharks. So I did that in San Diego. You can see some of that on the Firmly Unbound channel. There's one other like significant thing that we did. Oh, we went to a couple different national parks. That was really cool. Obviously got the news of the pregnancy. And there was one other thing, but I'm failing to remember. It was like something else I was learning that I was pretty excited to like learn and get better at. But you'll see it there on the Firmly Unbound channels. Those are linked down below. Link to Blue Compass is down below as well if you're looking for your next RV. And that's all I got for y'all. Until next time, live firmly unbound.